All right, the only guy we're ruling out for this game is Bernie right now.
Do you think it's a long-term thing with him, or how do you gauge?
I don't. I think it'll be week to week. He'll be progressing, though. We'll see.
Is Pitt back officially?
Pitt'll be back, yep.
Was he full today?
Yeah, he was out there full. He's ready to roll.
Shane, obviously AD played pretty well for you last week. With Pitt back, I mean, how do you kind of view that?
Yeah, you manage that with the rotation with those guys. I mean, he's going to get his snaps. AD's going to get his snaps. Everyone's going to get their snaps. But obviously, you got 4 guys, and when you're in 11 personnel, only 3 can be out there. So we'll manage those snaps.
With Pitt, what do you think he brings to the offense? Obviously, you know who he is, but just leadership, play style, all those things.
Everything that you just said, leadership, play style. But, when we need something in the clutch, he usually comes up big for us. He's come up big for us this year, last year, and obviously previous year. So be good to get him back out there.
What have you seen from Gonzalez last 2 weeks?
Toughness, obviously a rookie, but obviously the progression that he's made over the last couple weeks, stepping into that role, has been promising. So to get him out there, get those more game reps, it'll be good for him.
We talked about the standard in that room quite a bit, but to have 3 rookies starting on the offensive line, just how does that standard Tony set elevate those guys when they do get to play?
I think it's awesome. I think Tony has done a great job of setting the standard from day one when he's came in there. He coaches everyone the same, whether they're a rookie or a 7-year vet. He's done a phenomenal job with that room, and I think the guys feed off that. So excited for all those guys' opportunities.
Different week for Anthony,
Yeah.
just coming back as a starter. Just how do you think he's handled it since you told him that it was his job?
Phenomenal. He's done a great job. Obviously, it's stacked in the last 2 weeks, and then this week, seeing great growth. Like I said, not a finished product, but he had a phenomenal week this week.
Do you view 2 weeks and what he needed to do off the field can help accuracy on the field, or do you view that as something separate?
Yeah, I think that's a work in progress too, that stuff, but obviously it'll help. All that other stuff that we talked about is the most important stuff right now, and he's taking that in stride.
JT, it seemed like pretty feast or famine with the run game last week. Do you just view that as life with an NFL run game, or do you view that as we got to get those negative runs?
Yeah, we got to be positive. We got to be efficient on first and second down is going to be a big thing for us. We don't want to get in these second and long situations, but obviously having Anthony back would definitely help that.
Any update on Taekwon and John Carlos?
I don't. They're progressing really well, though. I'll say that. We'll see. I don't have a timetable on the return, but they're both doing really well.
Between the post-game comments Sunday with some of the defensive leaders and then the quarterback switch, have you noticed any change in tone or intensity or urgency this week?
Absolutely. I thought we had a hell of a week of practice. I really did. The guys have, been great all week. Today was phenomenal. It was a fast Friday, focus Friday. So we're excited for the opportunity to go to New York.
He said the captains kind of came together and hey, we got to rally around AR, and he said it was pretty heartfelt conversation that they had. For you as a coach, what's the line? Because he was saying you have to give some grace to the guy in that position, but for you as a coach, what's it like to give some grace but also hold him accountable?
Yeah, I think accountability is the number one thing in any business, and especially in this. You got 53 guys that are all pulling for one goal, to be the best they can, and everyone's holding each other to a high standard. Obviously, we know Anthony's a young player, but bringing him along, that's our job. Everyone bring him along so he can be the best version of himself.
The past couple of weeks have been about a lot of growth with Anthony, but so we've talked about it's kind of a little bit new territory for you as well to make a decision that big and handle it. Is there something that you've learned about just the head coach role that you wouldn't have known without going through that?
Yeah, I mean, it's great growth for everybody, right? You got to make decisions that you think are the best for the team in certain situations, and every decision I make, it falls on me. I'm responsible for every decision. But again, going back to it and now where we're at, feel good about our team going forward.
3 weeks until the bye, you haven't kind of had even a mini bye at all this season. How does that challenge the coaching staff to keep this, keep things on track where you don't necessarily have that little bit of a break to evaluate?
Yeah, there's no question. When you go 13 weeks straight without a bye, obviously you update a little things, schedules here and there. We updated some things this week with those guys. Obviously going into week 11, we've gone, whatever it was, 10 straight weeks of pads and plus training camp. So making sure these guys are fresh going into Sunday.